I'm gonna go ahead and bet all my money that the anime I'm going to be talking about today was not on your radar in 2024. Hell, you probably weren't even aware of its existence. And if you were, you probably took one look at its long-ass title and went, what the hell is a Dead Demons Dededede Destruction? Like, why is this title stuttering, dog? Nah, this is some artsy weird shit that r/anime eats up. It's probably gonna be confusing as hell. It has some like weird fetish shit in it. I ain't messing with that, my dude. Nah, let's be real, dog. This is some malcore try-hard anime shit. F all of that. Where's season 15 of My Hero Academia, dude? That's what we're talking about. And look, I don't blame you for thinking that, because honestly, you're not entirely wrong in that assessment. However, this simple 18-episode anime is all of that and so much more. And since I've barely seen anyone on YouTube talking about said anime, I figured, okay, I'll do it myself. So today, let's talk about what I believe to be the most slept on anime from 2024. Dead Demons Dededede. But hey, before we move on with that, I want to give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, the good folks over at Sakurako. If you guys have been around on my channel, you'll know that I've been a Sakurako partner for a long time now, but just in case you're new to it all and have no idea what Sakurako is, let me explain. Sakurako is a monthly Japanese artisan snack box that supports local snack makers across Japan. Each box coming with 20 traditional, authentic, and artisan Japanese snacks, including Japanese teas and a special Japanese tableware. Each box is chocked full of stuff that follow a specific theme, and this month being the month of April, I mean, if you guys know Japan, you should know by now what the theme is, but it is Moonlit Sakura. My favorite snack for this month is this really cute Sakura Russian cake. It's a pink chocolate cake slash cookie looking thing that looks absolutely adorable and tastes absolutely delicious. Oh, that's so good. It almost has like a bit of a floral aftertaste with the chocolate. Match made in heaven for sure. What's also really cute is that you can put all of the snacks with the complimentary special tableware. This month we have this adorable little plate here with these sakura petals on it. Really cute, very Japanese. And best of all, you can pair all of the snacks in the box with this month's tea pairing, being Sakura Hibiscus Tea. Each box comes with a special booklet that gives you all sorts of information about the snacks in the box, some cultural background stuff, and other important information like allergen information. Get a special bonus item for a limited time if you subscribe to a multi-month plan or use code AnimeMan to get $5 off of your first order. Click the link below or scan this QR code for more information. Enjoy the beauty of Yozakura at your own home. A big thank you to Sakurako for sponsoring this video. Now, let's get on with the review. Alright, so first of all, what the hell is this show and where the hell did it come from? Well, it's based off a manga series from 2014 created by a man called Inio Asano, and if that name gives you any level of post-traumatic stress disorder, then that means that you, my good ma'am or sir, were probably a victim of one of the most depressing, existential, dread-inducing manga series ever created. Oyasumi Pun Pun. Now, naturally, hearing this connection might initially scare some of you away from Dead Demons, but fear not, my fragile weeb Zuma child who is starving for good anime, because Dead Demons is nowhere near as depressing as Pun Pun is. If anything, plot twist, this show is actually really wholesome and is definitely not just a show about alien invasions and government conspiracies and that classic end of all humanity situation. No, if anything, underneath all of the doom and gloom that the show tries to portray through its whacked out visuals and occasional gore and literal anime Donald Trump, Dead Demons is, at its core, the same as any good shonen battle manga. It's a story about the power of friendship. Yeah. Okay, Mr. Anime Man, if that is your legal name, how in the hell are you going to justify that a show that looks and sounds and vibes like this is about the power of friendship or whatever? Well, for that, we first need to understand a few baseline concepts about what makes Dead Demons Dead Demons. First of all, yes, this is a story about an alien species
coming to Earth to destroy all of humanity, and the very realistic reactions from the people of Earth as to how they come to terms with dealing with said outer space problem, while they twiddle their opposable thumbs at the inevitable impeding doom caused by these sus Among Us plushies. But at the core of it all, this show is a brilliantly written and masterfully constructed coming-of-age human drama about the complicated relationship between two characters in particular, Kadode and Oran. Two high school girls who were just best friends, practically inseparable, and how the development and truth behind their relationship is the reason why very soon all of humanity is going to die a horrible death. Now, mind you, from this point onwards, I am going to be going into slight spoiler territory in this video, and by slight spoiler territory, I mean pretty heavy spoiler territory, because it's the only way I can fully analyze this show for you guys. So if you want to watch the show for yourself, because again, if you haven't, you're truly missing out, then I advise you right now to stand up on your crusty gaming chair and do a precise pop, shove it, nosebleed away from the computer and go watch the show for yourself and go and experience it, okay? Did you do that? Did you hear the Tony Hawk sound in your ears? Okay, good. Now listen up. Dead Demons is, at its core, a wholesome story about the concept of friendship and how one's individual journey through life is more important to said individual than the entire collective view and value of societal life. Goddamn, women only want one thing, and it's fucking wholesome as shit. Throughout the show's runtime, it does a fantastic job of telling two seemingly completely unrelated stories at the same time that perfectly oppose each other while also perfectly complementing each other at the same time. On one side of the coin, you have the very personable story of our two main characters, Kadode and Oran. Two best friends who, after a run-in with a little cute alien boy who was sent to Earth to spy on humanity to plot their next move, bring him back to their humble abode, as any level-headed anime girl would. And after hearing his story out, come to terms with how this fateful encounter has shaped not only who they are and will become as people, but also what core values they prioritize in their lives. Namely, Oran wanting to prioritize her friendship with Kadode to not only save her life in more ways than one, but also because this fateful encounter literally saves Oran's own life as well. One important plot point you come to find out deeper into the series is that the Oran you are seeing in the first half of the anime is not the same Oran. In fact, it is a completely different Oran from a completely different timeline who jumped into this new timeline that the first half of the anime is set in, using the intergalactic technology she acquired from that alien boy I mentioned earlier, who subsequently, by the way, also turns Kadode into this like murderous monster who wants to kill all the bad people in the world and save humanity through this whacked out faux revolution mentality she suddenly conjures up. Basically, think of it as like the plot to Death Note, except instead of Ryuk, it's an Among Us. And instead of Kira being killed by Duke at the end, spoilers for Death Note, it's Kadode mentally snapping, realizing that, hey, maybe it wasn't such a good idea to literally assassinate the Prime Minister of Japan, jumping down onto the ground from a building balcony to her unfortunate death, and Oran becoming the banana in Steins Gate to save her best friend in an alternative timeline. Yeah, this shit is wild. Now, for those of you who failed to do the pop, shove it, nosebleed away from the computer and went ahead and watched the first couple of episodes of the anime, you probably thought to yourself, wow, this Oran girl is like really batshit insane. Like what the hell is wrong with her? Well, after this reveal in the story that I just previously mentioned, you realize that she's almost playing this character of sorts to reshape her own life, Kadode's life, and all of humanity's future at the same time. And her crackhead spouts about revolution and humanity's last leg against an alien species is actually a clever foreshadowing to the viewers of the anime to the decision that she ultimately made at the beginning of the chronological story, which is to sacrifice the literal future of humanity to spend just a little more time with Kadode her best friend. At the same time as all of this Nakama stuff is happening at the individual level, we also get to see the macro scale of the whole story with humanity's views on this alien invasion and supposed end of the world situation. I will say that out of all of the similar alien invasion stories that exist out there in both anime and traditional media, Dead Demons weirdly might be the most realistic portrayal of how humanity would actually react if something like this happened in real life. I mean, look, we're talking multiple crazy conspiracy theories and mistrust and anxiety towards the government and military officials from the general public and blatant spreading of misinformation on the internet and TV to misguide or confuse the public, which then turn some people into these psychotic, revolution-driven war criminals and murderous anti-militant groups, while some other people at the same time form these pro-alien, anti-establishment groups trying to promote intergalactic peace without knowing how exactly. And it's just so much happens in between these very slice of life-esque friendship story scenes between two very wholesome anime girls. It's very jarring experience if you're not used to this kind of storytelling. And seeing this kind of weird dichotomy put together in this way is genuinely like spine-chilling to watch, because this is exactly how, again, I imagine we as a human species would act if the events of Dead Demons actually happen in real life. If I were in this situation, I'd gather a bunch of these aliens and make some sort of like Chow Garden-like oasis and then take my army of little cute alien boys to go and, I don't know, storm the Capitol Jan 6 style. Yeah, how do you like it now, President Padron, if that is your real fucking name? My boys are on that steady diet of hero and hot fruits, bitch! Sorry for my outburst. A line of dialogue that constantly gets repeated throughout the anime is a line that Kadode says to or about Oran, in which she says, "Ontan wa zettai nano desu," or as it was translated in English, Ontan is absolute. Oh yeah, by the way, Ontan is Oran's nickname, in case you missed out on that information. First time I heard this line of dialogue being said and realizing that it was kind of repeating throughout the series, it didn't really make much sense to me at first, as, to be fair, it is kind of a cryptic thing to say to your best friend, but I think at the time I thought what it was supposed to represent is just how much Kadode and Oran's relationship with one another shapes not only the future of each individual in this situation, but also ultimately the future of all of humanity. Oran's actions of going to another timeline to be with Kadode and changing her future ultimately did change the way that the aliens invaded Earth, eventually leading to the doom of all humanity, and in turn, the actions that Kadode took ultimately made Oran make that rash decision to Doctor Who her ass into another dimension. See, this was all just hypothesis, guesswork at first, until I came across the scene in the anime which made the meaning of the line so much clearer, because the anime brilliantly shows this when the murder monster version of Kadode in the previous timeline simply says to Oran, "I am your absolute." Kids, what this line symbolizes is not just the idea that Oran's actions are absolute towards the future of humanity, but also that everything else in this story is not absolute. In other words, every character that you see in the show's actions and thought processes and decisions in their lives are basically up for interpretation as to whether it is perceived or should be perceived as either a good thing or a bad thing. Because the further along you advance in the story of Dead Demons, and if you've been paying attention to everything that's been happening, the more that you'll be asking yourself one very simple question. Who exactly are the bad guys here? At first, you're led to believe here that it's the invading aliens ruining Tokyo and causing said apocalypse that we see in literally the first episode of the anime. But the more you learn about these aliens, and the more you see humanity's struggles to make themselves look like the hero, the more ugly their true intentions start to look. However, amidst all of that uncertainty, there is only one thing that is clear cut and simple. The fact that Kadode and Oran love each other's company, and that as long as there is a friendship there, any future is worth living in. I truly do think that Dead Demons is an absolute masterclass in not only character development and character storytelling, but also about the complexities of human nature, all whilst being a wonderfully aesthetic yet chaotic display of that classic Judgment Day scenario. And of course, in good old Inio Asano fashion, he doesn't forget to also give us a big fat dollop of existential dread in the worst ways imaginable, having the absolute audacity to portray these like aliens as these cute, intelligent, and civilized species who can feel compassion and empathy in very human ways to make you as the watcher feel fucking terrible when you have to sit back and cowardlessly watch these little dudes get mowed down mercilessly like it's fucking Columbine or something. And then, oh, by the way, to top it all off, for one of them at the very end of the series to say, by the way, we're not the aliens, you were originally on this planet, you guys invaded us, you were the real aliens, the real monsters all along. Ah! You know, on second thought, maybe this anime is kind of depressing. But hey, bottom line, watch Dead Demons, man. It's freaking great. I don't know if this like long ass video proved it to you or anything, but please go and watch it. It's all on Netflix, at least in Japan it is. And if you don't want to slog through 18 episodes of anime, the manga is equally as brilliant in my opinion. So go give that sick son of a bitch Inio Asano all the love and praise he deserves. Oh yeah, and for those of you who are wondering, the only reason why I myself am late to making this video about Dead Demons is because I didn't realize that after its original theatrical release in cinemas, which I missed out on unfortunately because I was too busy during that time, that they re-released it on Netflix soon after, and I only found out about it like a few months ago. So yeah, there you go. Either way, guys, let me know your thoughts and opinions on Dead Demons. If you did watch it or read it, I've been trying to like legitimately find someone other than Gaunt who has seen this anime and fucked with it as hard as we did. So yeah, please feel free to join the club if you're down for that discussion. And hey, since 2025 seems to be the year where I'm actually bringing back anime content, let me know about any other topics or anime you'd like me to cover in videos like this. I'll be more than happy to read all of your comments and ignore 99% of them. Leave a like, sub to the channel, all that shit. You know how it goes. See you guys in the next one. Ciao.